We use debit cards for almost everything these days. Groceries, gas, shopping online. It feels convenient and safe and easy, right? But what if I told you that debit cards are actually much riskier than they seem? The things that most people don't know about using a debit card could lead to a major financial headache. And what I'm about to share with you will blow your mind because trust me, you don't know what you don't know. And banks sure aren't rushing to tell you this stuff. Hey, stick with me until the end and you'll be shocked by all the things you've never been told about debit cards. Trust me, you'll want to hear this and share it with a good friend. Yeah, I've seen it so many times before. Someone swipes their debit card for a routine purchase, but a small error or fraudulent charge ends up costing them hundreds or even thousands of dollars in overdraft fees, lost money, and stress. And here's the thing. Most people don't realize how little protection debit cards offer compared to credit cards. Hey there, I'm Steve, a grandfather, former search and rescue pilot, and consumer debt expert. I've been helping people get out of financial messes since 1994. I'm also the author of several personal finance books, and one of them was even named the Washington Post Book of the Month. I'm proud about that. Over the years, I've seen firsthand how debit cards can create unnecessary risks. Hey, stick with me. And by the end of this video, you'll have a much better understanding of why debit cards are riskier than they appear and what you can do to protect yourself. Now let's dive in. So how did debit cards become so popular? Well, back in the 80s and 90s, banks introduced debit cards as a way for people to access their money directly from checking accounts. It was like a natural extension of ATM cards and checks. But here's what banks don't want you to know. They didn't push debit cards because they were a smart personal financial tool. They did it because debit cards are incredibly profitable for banks. Every time you swipe your debit card, the bank charges a transaction fee called an interchange fee. They charge that to the merchant. It's usually small, but across millions of transactions, these fees bring in billions of dollars for banks. Debit cards also gave banks a new way to profit from overdraft fees. If you swipe your debit card and don't have enough money in your account, many banks will allow the transaction to go through, but charge you a hefty fee, sometimes $35 or more for every overdraft. And what does this mean? Well, banks embrace debit cards not to help you manage your money, but to create a steady revenue stream for themselves. For every swipe, they make money. And if you make a mistake or overspend, they make even more through fees. That's why they promoted debit cards so aggressively. One of the riskiest places to use your debit card is at the gas pump. Many gas stations place a hold on your account when you swipe your debit card, sometimes for more than $100. This is done to ensure you have enough money to cover the purchase, but it ties up your funds, even if you're just putting $20 of gas in your tank. That hold can last for a few hours or even days, depending on your bank. If you're not paying close attention, that can lead to overdrafts and a big financial headache. Now, here's another potential pitfall with debit cards: car rentals. Some car rental companies might not accept debit cards at all, or if they do, it's often with limitations and exceptions. For example, they may place a large hold on your account to cover potential damages or require a higher deposit than they would with a credit card. And even if the customer service tells you that it's possible to use a debit card, you could still run into problems at the rental counter. Make sure to call ahead when you make a reservation and let them know you're going to use a debit card. This way, you won't be surprised when you arrive. Just recently, I saw a guy at a car rental counter in front of me who couldn't rent the car because he tried to use a debit card. He said, customer service told me it was fine, but the counter staff refused him. Last I saw, he was heading back to the terminal on that damn shuttle bus. No rental car in hand. A situation you definitely want to avoid. Hey, if you're finding this information helpful at all, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. I'm constantly sharing insights on how to protect yourself financially and navigate the hidden risks that can affect your money and your life. And one of the most concerning risks of using a debit card is that if your card is hacked or stolen, you're giving thieves direct access into your bank account. Now, unlike credit cards, which pull from a line of credit, debit cards pull from your real money. That means if someone gets your card information, they can drain your checking account before you even realize it. Now, here's a personal story. I once went to use my credit card for a purchase, and the place accidentally gave me back the card of somebody else. I didn't notice, and the other person ended up with my credit card. With a tap and go payment system like we have today, they could have started using it immediately in the local area without a problem. Luckily, my credit card company would have covered me for any unauthorized charges. If that had been a debit card, those charges would have been coming directly out of my bank account, potentially causing all sorts of financial trauma. Now, here's something most people don't realize. While some banks offer better protections for debit cards, they don't have to. Under Regulation E, banks are only required to offer the bare minimum of protection, and that means your bank might offer additional safeguards, but they can change those policies at any time. If they decide to roll back those protections, they're still in compliance with the law, and you're at the mercy of your bank's policies. For example, your bank might cover fraud for up to 60 days or replace funds immediately as a courtesy, but those policies aren't guaranteed, and they can be changed without warning. Let's dive a little deeper into overdraft fees. Now, many people don't realize that debit cards have no built-in credit limit. So if you make a purchase that exceeds your account balance, the bank will often allow the transaction to go through, but with a costly penalty. Overdraft fees can run as high as $35 per transaction, and if you have several small transactions after your account is overdrawn, the fees can pile up quickly. Here's how it works. Imagine you have $50 in your checking account, but you accidentally make a $100 purchase. Not only will the overdraft fees hit you, but every small transaction afterward, like buying even a $3 cup of coffee, could trigger another $35 fee. It's one of the ways the banks profit most from debit cards. It can easily snowball into hundreds of dollars if you're not careful. But that's not the end of the story. Some merchants can also charge you a penalty fee when your debit card transaction is declined due to insufficient funds. So not only could you be hit with a bank overdraft fee, but you might also get a merchant penalty fee, doubling your unexpected costs. And suddenly what seemed like a small mistake can turn into a huge financial disaster. If you run into a dispute with a merchant, whether they charge you for something you didn't buy or the product isn't what was promised, disputing that charge is much harder with a debit card. With credit cards, the credit card company will typically remove the charge immediately while they investigate. With debit cards, the money is already gone from your account, and the bank may or may not return it until they finish their investigation. And this could take days or even weeks. When you return an item or cancel a service paid for with a debit card, it can take several days or even up to a week for funds to be credited back to your account. During this time, your money is essentially in limbo. And if you're depending on that money for other bills or purchases, it can lead to overdrafts or financial stress. With credit cards, refunds are generally processed more quickly. And since it's not your own money, you don't need to have to worry about it being taken out as cash from your checking account. Using a debit card while traveling abroad can be risky. Many banks charge foreign transaction fees, and your debit card might not be as widely accepted as a credit card in certain countries. Some ATMs abroad may also tack on additional fees to access your own money. If your debit card is lost or stolen while traveling, recovering those funds can be slow and difficult. Now, credit cards, on the other hand, often offer better travel perks and protections, such as travel insurance, emergency card replacement, and lower or no foreign transaction fees. Now, you might be thinking, but Steve, I can't qualify for a credit card. Well, no problem. You can start with a secured credit card. That's a credit card where your credit limit is backed by a security deposit, usually equal to or greater than the deposit that you put down. The best part is your money earning interest, and the credit card helps you build your credit just like a regular credit card. Growing good credit after that is stupid easy. In fact, after using a secured card responsibly for a period of time, Most people can qualify for an unsecured credit card, and this is probably the subject of an upcoming video, so make sure to subscribe to my Old Guy Insights YouTube channel. You'll be building your credit and protecting your finances before you even know it. Now, let's talk about why credit cards can be so powerful for your financial health. Debit cards don't help you build credit, but when you use a credit card responsibly, meaning you pay your balance off on time each month, you're boosting your credit score, and that's important for the long run. Why? Well, because having a good credit score can help you qualify for better interest rates on things like loans and mortgages. In the long term, using credit cards wisely can save you thousands of dollars on major purchases, like a home or a car. It's all about building up a financial history that shows lenders you're trustworthy. So if you've been using your debit card for everything, I hope this gives you a new perspective. Debit cards might seem convenient, but the risks far outweigh the benefits, especially when you compare them to credit cards. And remember, banks may love debit cards, but that doesn't mean they're doing you any favors. Hey, I'm here to make sure you don't get trapped by the financial pitfalls that so many people unknowingly fall into. Be sure to subscribe so you can stay ahead and protect your money. And as always, I've included a giant reference guide in the description so you can do your own research and take a deep dive into the facts I've discussed here today. If you check out these videos over here, I got a lot more good information for you. And until next time, stay informed and stay protected. See ya!